Welcome to this webinar today. Our topic is tips for working from home knowledge management. Just quickly before I hand over to my colleague, there are some short important information. As usual, we muted all of you, but of course you can always ask your questions by entering in the question area of your GoToWebinar control panel. My colleague will of course answer your questions at the end of the presentation. That's now basically all from my part, and we can start with the webinar session. So I hand over to my colleague Edgar Grassel. Welcome, Edgar, it's your turn.
Well, a warm welcome from Austria. My name is Edgar Grasel. I work for ELO Digital Office in Austria, and in our webinar series Tips for Working from Home, I will show you today how we use the knowledge management to share our knowledge even if we are in the home office. So some weeks ago, something changed. This I showed you in the last two webinars out of this series. Normally, we work in the office in Austria. We are 10 people here, and we have everything we need to do our work. We have access to our data. We have our own workspace. We can communicate with each other in an easy way. So maybe I meet a colleague at the coffee machine and I can ask him a question and I will get an answer. But 3 weeks ago, something changed, or we had to change something because we were forced to work from home. And not only the place we work now, from where we work now, has changed, but the way we have to work has changed as well. Because when you're in the home office, you need to set up a proper workspace where you can do your work. It has to be quiet. The company has to enable access to your resources. You have to have access to your applications and your data and so on. We managed it by using our existing VPN connection. You have to set up some communication tools that the employees can talk to each other, they can make meetings, and so on. So for this, we use Microsoft Teams because we had it already and it works for us fine. Then to prevent the people to share their files and information only via email or use the personal Dropbox, Google Drive, or OneDrive accounts, you have to set up a platform where they can store their information, where they can store their documents, and where they can share the documents with each other. For this, we use our own ELO. We have access, even if we're in the home office, and everybody's forced to save his or her files there. So the target for this is that everybody has the same level of information. Every file, every information is stored in our internal ELO. The files which are stored there are traceable, so you can say when did who what. We also use our collaboration tools like the document feed to share some more information to a document or to a folder or something. And we now have to use our workflows and our tasks. As I said, we are 10 people in Austria. We didn't need to use our workflows very often. We didn't need to use the document feed because we're all in one place and we can talk to each other in the short way. So I go to my colleague and tell him something and say, look, it's in our ELO. That's not possible today. We're in our home office. We had to change those things. We have to use workflows now, and we have to use our collaboration tools. The next thing, when you're in the office, you have an idea. You say, well, wouldn't it be nice when we make a webinar series about tips for working from home, where we can share our things, our challenges we had to face, that others get to know the same things. When I'm in the office, I will go to the colleague and tell him, and he would say, well, a good idea, or well, no, bad idea. Or when you want to ask a question, you want to know how to set up a webinar series. So what would I normally do when I'm in the office? I would think, who could know this? And then I would go to our marketing department and say, hey, I want to make a webinar series. What things, or which things do I have to consider to set up a webinar series? Or I am the one who knows the information, and I get asked the same question 3 times a day, because now everybody wants to make webinars and everybody wants to know how to make it. And if I am the one who knows this, then I get the question 3 times a day or more. So in every case, when someone has an idea, when someone has a question, or when someone knows something, people would communicate with each other. They would talk to each other. They would maybe make a meeting, um, and talk about the idea, or something, and you make a presentation or something. But when you're in your home office, this way of communication doesn't exist. You can't go to your colleague because he's in his home office as well. Or you maybe you don't know who you have to ask to make a webinar series, and the information isn't there. So wouldn't it be nice when there is a platform where we can share this knowledge, where we can ask questions, where we can bring in our ideas and share them with others, and they can vote if the idea is good or bad or something. Give you an example. Our employee Gerd Baum has an idea. He wants to make a webinar series. So he thinks, maybe I should call my colleague. She's in the marketing department, and ask her or tell her about the idea. So he calls Sandra Renz. Sandra Renz says, yes, good idea, but call the colleague Verona Funk. She knows how to set up the webinars. So he calls Verona Funk, asks her, you know how to set up a webinar. I want to make a webinar series. Can you send me the information? And she sends him the information in an email. There's maybe a Word document in it where he can fill in his title and date and so on. But she thinks, well, that's the third who asks me the same question this week. I think I'll store the information in a central platform in our knowledge management. And this I'll show you now. So we have our 3 employees, Verona Funk, Sandra Renz, and Gerd Baum. Verona Funk works with her desktop client because, well, she's used to it, and she needs to store many Word documents and PowerPoint presentations, and for this it works the best. And because she's asked the question 3 times a day, how to set up a webinar series, she now wants to write an article in the Knowledge Board. The Knowledge Board is used for writing articles, asking questions, or bringing in some ideas. It's really empty here. The reason is there are only German entries in here, and you can change the language which is used. And today we talk English, so there's nothing in it. And So she wants to write the article, and here she has the choice between asking a question, suggest an idea, or writing an article. For writing an article, she has to give a title. This I prepared already. How to set up a webinar. And then, as you know, she's very, very fast in writing. She writes the article with the right information in it. She selects the space. The space in this case is marketing, and she can add a topic as well. And the topic is for webinars. Here you see the topic which already exists. There is no topic with webinar, so I add one by writing it in. And then she posts it. So she now has shared her knowledge how to set up a webinar series, and she can tell the people, please look into the knowledge board. There's an article how to set up a webinar and which information I need when you want to make one. So the owner funk is finished for the moment. Gerd Baum, who uses his web client because it's light, it's fast, and he's used to it because he likes it, and because he has subscribed to the marketing space. He gets the information in his My ELO section that Verona Funk has posted or has written an article about how to set up a webinar. So, oh, wrong turn. So he goes into the knowledge board, and there he can see the article, and he can read it, and he can add a comment or something, or he can vote for it. And when he votes for it, he says, well, that's a good article, which helped me because I want to set up a webinar series, and now I know how to do it. As I said before, Gerd Baum had the idea to set up a webinar series, and he can suggest an idea in the knowledge board as well. So he does it, and he writes his idea. One moment. Webinar series, tips for working from home. And then he describes his idea. Would be great if we could make a webinar series. Maybe he could describe it more detailed, but that's enough for today. So he chooses the space marketing, and he says on topics, and as you can see, he can choose the webinar from here, and he can add a topic, another topic like home office or something. So why do we need this? Why do we need the topics? Why do we need the space? The space defines where the idea, the post, the question or something is stored. In the marketing space, you have everything about marketing. The topics you can subscribe to as well. So you can subscribe to home office, and you see in your My ELO section every time when something changes that something has changed. So he posts his idea, and the others, everybody can see this, who has the right to see the marketing section. And so he can, so every other employee can leave a comment or leave an opinion and can vote for this idea. So you can see in an easy way, well, this is a good idea. Everybody says it's cool, it's yeah, and can leave his or her opinion and say, well, maybe we should add some other topic, like, don't know, how to talk to your plant or something. So the idea starts to or a discussion starts with the idea, and everybody can bring in his or her opinion. So this was Gerd Baum. As you can see in the English section now, there are two things in one article, the article from Verona Funk, how to set up a webinar, and the idea from Gerd Baum for the webinar series, Tips for Working from Home. Sandra Renz, who's the third, opens up her client. She works with the rich client, with the Java client, because she uses it since 5 years now, and she's used to it as well. And she sees in her My ELO section that Verona Funk has written the article and about how to set up a webinar, and Gerd Baum has written or has shared his idea about the webinar series Tips for Working from Home. So when she changes to her knowledge board, she's bilingual. She can talk English and German. Now we reduce it to English. And she can click on the idea from Gerd Baum. She can leave her opinion. Good idea. Which topics do we, or do you suggest, or something? And she can share her opinion, and she can vote for this idea that it's a good idea. So when we go back, we see that the idea is voted with 1. When time goes by, the votes will get up. So you can see when you have 5 ideas in your knowledge board, you see the best ideas and the worst ideas, maybe. And the next thing, Cassandra Renz wants to make a PowerPoint presentation for the webinar series, but she doesn't know where to find the templates for it. So she asks a question. She asks the question, PowerPoint templates. Where do I find the templates for PowerPoint? She selects the space marketing as well. And it's not the topic webinars, it's not the topic home office, it's the topic templates. So she writes in templates to add a topic. And so she asks this question. And then she can wait for it until the question gets answered. Let's go back to Verona Funk. Verona Funk opens her client. She sees, oh, Gerd Baum has added his, Sandra Renz has asked a question. Gerd Baum has added his idea, and that's my article. So she goes to knowledge board, and there she sees the idea for the webinar series. She votes for it. Yes, good idea. She can leave an opinion as well. Maybe first topic, ELO as information platform. and she can share her opinion about this idea. And then she sees, okay, with a question in here, PowerPoint templates, where do I find the templates for PowerPoint? And Verona knows it, and she writes, you can find it here, and she can leave a link to the, oh, she could leave a link to the location if she didn't use the desktop client, I think. So no, she can't answer it because she doesn't know, but Gertbaum knows, and I'll show you later. Yes, so Sandra Verona Funk voted for the idea and left an opinion for the idea for the first topic, which they should make a webinar about. So we have to change to Gert Baum once more, and he has to answer the question Sandra Rentz asked 2 minutes ago. So he visits his knowledge board, and there he writes the information in. You can find it here, and he can leave a link to a folder or document. And I've prepared it. There are the templates in it, and as you can see, there are 2 PowerPoint templates. So in the next step, Sandra Rentz gets the information that the question was answered by Gert Baum, and she can mark the answer as helpful, as she can vote for it, or she can wait for other information, or she can leave a reply or something. So when others go to the knowledge board afterwards, they see that there are some questions in the marketing sections, there's an idea, and there's an article how to set up a webinar. And when you use your knowledge board more often, like we do now, the information you can find here grows. So you know where to look for it, and when you can't find it, then you can ask a question. So when we use our knowledge management, as I said, we can share our knowledge by writing an article. I know something and I don't want to get the same question every day, so I write an article and I can share my knowledge. Where do I find templates, or how to set a webinar series, or some other stuff, how to get a key for the office or something. You can ask questions. When you don't find the proper information you need, you can ask a question. Where do I find my PowerPoint template? And you get the right answers. You can share your ideas, and the others can vote for it. So you can find out which idea is good, which idea is not so good. What do the people think of it by sharing their opinions, and so on. And when you are really, really busy by writing articles, asking questions, and sharing ideas, you get reputation. And the more reputation you get, maybe at the end of the month, you get a bottle of wine or something. Depends on the company. So what goals have we achieved with this? The knowledge gets accessible, even if you're not in the office. The others can share their knowledge as well. So the whole knowledge of the company can be found in the knowledge board. The questions are answered, and the best question can be marked as the solution. So when you have a technical problem, you can ask a question, maybe how to establish a VPN connection, and the IT answers the question by sharing a description in it like this. And the next colleague who has the same problem can or will find this question, and he gets the answer on the way. The ideas will be evaluated, because when you can share your ideas and others can vote for it. And when you see the big picture, there are 5 or 10 or 20 ideas in it, and the best idea or the idea where the most colleagues have voted for it is the best idea, and you can find the opinions, and you can start the conversation about it. Reputation, as I said, the more you share your knowledge, the more reputation you get. And well, it depends on the company what you make of it. The information is up to date. We started using the knowledge board more often when we changed from working in the office to the home office, because there were many questions. As I said, how to set up the VPN or how to establish the VPN connection, and so on. When there is a problem, you can write it in there as a question. When you have an idea, you don't have to set up a phone call or Teams meeting. You can write the idea in our knowledge board, and others will vote for it, and others will leave their opinions. So it has grown from some basic information about our company to a complete new topic: home office. How do I work in home office? How can I manage this and that, and so on. And the last goal that we have achieved is that the knowledge stays available. It doesn't get lost when the employee leaves the company, or when the employee is in holiday or something. It stays available because it's written in the knowledge board. So that was knowledge management with ELO, and now you can ask your questions if you want. When there are no questions, then I made it very good. No questions. Wow. Okay, then I thank you for your attention. And maybe we will see next week on Friday, I think, when I talk about getting an overview with ELO Analytics. Thank you.
Thank you, Eka, for your great presentation. Now we are at the end of the webinar. Thank you all for taking part in this webinar and your attention. Have a nice day and goodbye.